Hello and welcome to the Park Life Podcast. My name is Mike. I'm a travel agent that specializes in all things Disney. This is episode 64 of the Park Life Podcast, and it's chapter 11 of our History of Walt Disney World. Today, chapter 11 is Out with the Old, In with the New. If you were here with me for chapter 10, I went through a long list of attractions, shows, rides that once upon a time existed in the four parks at Walt Disney World. Today's episode is going to cover rides, shows, attractions that have opened at Walt Disney World since about 2020. I cheated. There's going to be some in 2019, and I think you'll see why I did that in the case of one of the four parks, as it was a significant expansion of the park itself. So here we go. I will tell you this: the long list of things that have closed over the years is longer than this list of things that have opened in the last 5 years. But again, I cheated in some sense. There are things that have opened but have closed. So if they're no longer open, I did not include them on my list. And as we know, Walt has always said that, we should always be looking forward, always considering and thinking about what's new and what's to come. And so we have that in front of us, and that will be chapter 12 of this series. But again, these are new attractions that have opened since 2020 and are still operating today. If they've closed between the opening in 2020, 2021, whenever they opened, and today, they're not on my list. Magic Kingdom will start there as always. That's my favorite park, and it's usually the park we go to first on a vacation. Mickey's Adventure Friends Cavalcade. This opened February 11th, 2022. If you think back, 2020 was the year of the COVID pandemic. Parks closed for several months. When they reopened, they did not have parades, they did not have nighttime shows, they did not have character meet and greets. But Disney came up with the concept of a cavalcade, a brief, shortened parade that ran. It was, 2, 3 floats in and out, gave guests some semblance of normalcy with a mini parade, if you will, and got to see some characters, which certainly helped for littles that were in the parks at the time. Also in February, on February 25th of 2022, Mickey's Magical Friendship Fair on the stage in front of the castle. That show opened then and is still operating today. Jump forward slightly, April 4th, 2023. I'll always remember this date because it's my oldest son's birthday on April 4th. In Tomorrowland, Tron opened. This has a lot of mixed feelings. A lot of people think the ride's way too short and therefore it's not enjoyable. And while I would tell you, I could argue that every ride, almost every ride at Disney should be longer. Peter Pan, for example, should be longer for the wait. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train should be longer for the wait. Rock and Roller Coaster should be longer. Again, I could go on and on with rides. So Tron is not new to this idea of wish it was longer. But the ride itself, the pre-show, such a cool experience. The ride is such a smooth roller coaster. I love the fact that Disney, while they created them with the Tron bikes that you could ride, they also provided what I'll call traditional seating in the back of a couple of the coaster trains for those that couldn't or did not want to sit in the bikes. They could sit in the back in a more traditional style setting and still enjoy the ride. I enjoy roller coasters. I'm usually not much of a front row roller coaster person um, for a couple reasons. One, I don't need to be the first one to see the drop when we get to the top of the hill. But secondly, honestly, you think about if you're going up on a roller coaster and you get to the top and you start to come down, and you're the front car, you're a third of the way down the hill before the back half of the car is released or back half of the train is released, and you start to pick up speed. So you don't really get to experience the speed aspect. Prawn, however, to me, I've ridden it in different places in the car, middle, back. There is nothing like the very front seat in Tron. I think part of that is because of the launch aspect of it and being able to just kind of crank up and see everything in front of you. It's such a cool experience. I think it makes the ride that much better and that much different. Remember Frozen Holiday Surprise? That opened just a couple years ago. It'll be 2 years this November 11/7 to 2023. So here coming up in less than a month, November of 2025, will be the 2 year anniversary of the Frozen Holiday Surprise. It's a nighttime stage show at the Magic Kingdom. It is not a Christmas party ticket event. It's an everyday normal park show. This is a refurb ride. It used to be Splash Mountain. Now it's Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It opened on June 28th of 2024, so it's now approaching a year and a half in existence already, which is insane to me. The next one I've not seen yet. I will be seeing it here in a few weeks. That opened June 20th, so it's been 4 months already that this has been operating, and that is Disney's Starlight Parade, the nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom. Such excitement to have a nighttime parade back in the Magic Kingdom. And again, I will see that here in a few weeks, and I will probably stream it live when I do. So keep your eyes open for that. Love that. They brought that back. I've seen bits and clips of it on social media. I've tried to refrain from watching it from start to finish because I just want to experience for the first time through my own eyes inside the park. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's go over to Epcot. Again, these are shows, rides, attractions that have opened since 2020. And I can promise you there are probably things not on my list that may be a little bit smaller in nature. If it's a uh, food stand that does, drinks and whatever, I don't have that on my list. So you can forgive me for some of the things that I might have omitted. But at Epcot, the Beauty and the Beast sing along in the World Showcase opened on January 17th of 2020, as did Canada Far and Wide inside the Canadian Pavilion, opening up January 17th, 2020. And I paused there for just a moment to think back to that time that was about 2 months before the park closure for the pandemic. Nobody on the planet, at least in America and certainly at Disney, had any notion of what was to come about 2 months later. So those shows open then, obviously with everything else closed for a while, but they still exist today. October 1st, 2021, Remy Ratatouille's Adventure, the ride in France and the World Showcase opened. Big news this week just announced they're going to convert that ride from a 3D, wearing 3D glasses, to a two-dimensional show. There will be a 3-day closure in early November of 2025. Thankfully, reopening just in time, knock on wood, for my trip down there. So I'll be able to watch the Remy Ratatouille ride in 2D and give my sense and my review, if you will, after the fact of what I think of the previous version in 3D and the new version in 2D. I'll tell you, I can go one or two ways with this. Three-dimensional shows can be incredible if the effects are really good. If they're not so good, then they're just meh. The other thing that I have a complication with, and I don't know if any of you experience this, but obviously, as you can tell, I wear glasses, and these are bifocals. I have the transition, the bifocal on the bottom, so that when I'm trying to read, I gotta do the old crank the head up a little bit so I can see what I'm reading. If I take these off, my vision is okay, but it's still kind of blurry. I can't read very well, so I keep them on all the time, which means I'm then plopping my 3D glasses right in front of my actual glasses, and that isn't always the most comfortable thing, um, especially if it's a longer attraction. I think of Flight of Passage and having those things on my face for 3, 4, 5 minutes. It can be a little not so enjoyable, I guess I'll put it that way. So I'm excited to see what Remy will be like in 2D, and I will provide a review of that after the fact. Quote unquote, everyone's favorite ride at all of Walt Disney World. And I say everyone, quote unquote, because not nothing is ever 100% everybody loves, right? So this one, but for those that are aficionados of rides, I think most everybody says this is the best ride in all of Walt Disney World. Opening May 27th of 2022, which tells me and tells you and all of us that that ride is now 3.5 years old already. That's unbelievable to me. Guardians of the Galaxy. Such an amazing roller coaster experience. Pre show is wonderful as well. put a lot of thought and energy and cast member talent into creating Guardians of the Galaxy there. This one opened October 16th of 2023, which means we just celebrated the 2-year birthday or anniversary, however you like to call it. Journey of Water, inspired by Moana. Beautiful walkthrough area. I was there late 2023, a couple months after it opened. Walked through it. I enjoyed it. It was nice, but um, this past May we were there with my family, which included my almost 2-year-old grandson. Well, if you got littles that like to play in the water, he had a great time and it was so much fun. Oh, excuse me. Loved it so much better than the first time I walked through it. But a beautiful, serene area, really relaxing. So if you never got to do that, by all means, get after it. December 5th of 2023, I was there for opening night of this one, and that is Luminous, the new nighttime show over the World Showcase Lagoon. If you've listened to me in previous podcasts or on our Park Life Live, you know this. Illuminations will always be my favorite. But I watched Luminous opening night in December of 2023 there on the bridge between the UK and France. I enjoyed it, but I walked away, frankly, kind of so so on it. I've now seen it numerous times, a couple times live in person, several times on live streams. And with each showing, I fall in love with it just a little bit more. I think one of the things I've always loved about the nighttime shows at Epcot is that it's not a complete um, rinse and repeat of Disney movie songs. There's some original songs, some things that are very inspirational to me and enjoyable, but it's just not a replay of music track from Disney movies, similar to what you get with Happily Ever After, for instance, which I love that show, by the way. Okay, July 22nd of 2025. So we're now 3 months in. I'll enjoy this for the first time here in a few weeks. That is the reimagination of Test Track. Many call it Test Track 3.0. I can tell you I've seen mixed reviews on this. So again, I tend to any and all reviews that I see and read, I kind of take it with a grain of salt because everybody's different. One person's love is another person's disdain. Um, but I will be excited, and again, I'll provide my review on that that you can take with a grain of salt. But the reimagined Test Track 3.0 is now 3 months old. This next one, so this podcast is dropping on, when am I dropping this one? October 27th. So this one will actually have been open for a couple of days, and I can tell you they've already done a soft opening, and that is the updated Spaceship Earth, the ride inside the golf ball. The official open date for that is October 25th of 2025. They just started doing soft openings here a handful of days ahead of that, but that's another one, a traditional fan favorite ride. Some it's because it's just nostalgic, some because you get to sit down and take a load off the feet for 15-20 minutes, some because it's dark and you can kind of lay back and rest your eyes a little bit, enjoy the air conditioning, um, learn a little bit along the way. So I'm excited to see that. I don't think it's been a significant change by any stretch. Disney had once talked about doing a significant closure and redo of that ride. That's not what this is. So it's small in nature, but something I'm looking forward to here in a few weeks. Let's jump to Hollywood Studios. Now, this is the park that I cheated a little bit, and you're going to see some 2019 openings, and I think you'll maybe understand why I did that here in a second. Although the first one is totally cheating. That is The Wonderful World of Animation, opened May 1st of 2019, so it's now 6.5 years old. That is a nighttime show on the Chinese theater. And honestly, I think it's one that really flies under the radar because Phantasmic takes all of the fanfare and attention for nighttime shows at Hollywood Studios. And I'll admit, I'm guilty of that. Phantasmic is by far my favorite nighttime show. I will not miss it unless weather cancels it. I will not miss it. And therefore, I miss Wonderful World of Animation most often when we're at Hollywood Studios. Okay, now here's my cheat. I'm not going to say why it's a cheat until I've said all four of these, and I think you might have an idea how and why this is a cheat. The Droid Depot opened August 29th, 2019. Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run opened August 29th, 2019. Hear a theme in those dates? Savvy's Workshop opened August 29th, 2019. Galaxy's Edge, the newest themed land at Hollywood Studios, opened in 2019. I just couldn't pass up sharing that here. I know it's outside of my 2020, but it was close enough. And then I guess I didn't really remember this, but Rise of the Resistance opened on December 5th, 2019. So it was 4 months, almost 3.5 months after Galaxy's Edge opened up. But it opened on December 5th, 2019. Was a huge draw. It was all virtual queue, and it was really hard to get a virtual queue. We were there in October of 2020, a full 10 and a half months after, almost 11 months after the ride opened, and we struggled to get virtual queue slots. We got them, but it was hard. We were there for 2 different days and got on our second day. But such an amazing experience. Even if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, the land itself, the detail, how realistic it feels at night when it's dark and all lit up, such special feels. All right, let's move on. Um, Now, this one took the place of a lot of people's favorite. That is the new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, opened March 4th of 2020. So it again has been 5.5 years already. Can you believe that? It's been probably closer to 6 years now that the Great Movie Ride closed at Hollywood Studios. That is unbelievable to me that it's been 6 years now. November 9th of 2024, so just 1 year ago, um, Jollywood opened up at Hollywood Studios. And then this year in 2025, on May 27th, these two open up for the first time. Villains Unfairly Ever After, brand new at Hollywood Studios. That took the place of the um, Lightning McQueen Racing Academy over by the Rock and Roller Coaster ride. And then this was a refurb, redo, relaunch. That is Little Mermaid Musical Adventure, also May 27th of 2025. It took the place of the original Little Mermaid show in Hollywood Studios. And lastly, at Animal Kingdom, very short list here of things that opened since 2020. And again, I cheated a little bit here and added one for 2019. But the animation experience at the conservation station opened July 11th of 2019. Love that. It's such a fun thing to do. You take the train, which is a fun ride in and of itself, over to the conservation station. They've got the petting zoo, the walkthrough building, got the vet area. They have an area for the animation experience where you get pen and paper or pencil and paper, and a cast member walks you through how to draw a character for that day. Such a fun experience. Everybody's drawings looks different, but that's what makes it fun and unique, and you get yourself your own souvenir to take home with you. This next one opened on July 11th of 2020, so a year later. One of my favorite shows at Animal Kingdom, and that is the Feathered Friends in Flight. Now, I will tell you, if you're not a fan of birds, you may want to avoid this show because the birds are very prevalent. They do some they do some um, fun um, tests, if you will, I guess, for the birds to show how they've trained the birds. So you've got cases where birds are flying right over the top of the guests. Depending on where you're sitting, you might even feel the wind of the wings flapping by. That's how low they are to you. Some of the birds are big in nature. So, again, if you're afraid of birds, you might want to steer clear of this one. But I enjoy the show. I think it's amazing what they're able to train these birds to be able to do. I like the interaction with the audience and some of the experiments, training things that they do with the birds. Fun deal. Next one is opening soon. It will be opening November 7th of 2025, and that is Zootopia, Better Zoogether. It will actually start doing DVC and annual pass holder previews towards the end of October, opening for the general public on November 7th. Fortunately, opening just the week before I get there, so I will get to see um, the Zootopia show, which is in the Tree of Life, took the place, or it's taking the place of It's Tough to Be a Bug. I'll be there on November 13th, I believe, to see that show, so I'm excited about that. And I can give you my review on that one as well. So that's my list of the things out with the old, in with the new at the four parks. I'm going to go ahead and give you the spoiler now. Chapter 12 that I drop in the next week will be our final chapter in the series of the history of Walt Disney World. And I'm going to call it the Here's to the Future. We're going to talk about the things yet to come in the next 2 or 3 years across the four parks. And it's really focused on three parks: Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. So look forward to that episode. But that's a wrap for today's episode 64, chapter 11 of the History of Walt Disney World. You can catch me on the Park Life channel on YouTube or on Spotify. I drop these Monday mornings at about 5 a.m. Eastern. We also do Park Life Live on the YouTube channel on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, or on my TikTok channel, Mike_Disney Travel. Would love to have you join us. We talk Disney news, Disney rumors, Disney promotions. And we always have some fun playing some games, whether it's trivia or pick 'em or whatever we can come up with. We have some fun. I love the interaction with everybody that joins. You can also catch me on Facebook on Mike's Magical World Vacations, or on YouTube and Instagram at Mike_Disney Travel. Love to work with you and your family on your next trip. If you'd like to do so, you can reach out to me. Or if I can help answer questions to make your trip magical, I'm happy to do that as well. But that's a wrap for today. Hope you have a great day. And remember, it's a great day to be alive. Bye, everybody.